Reddit fresh. Am I the idiot for not allowing my husband's close family to come to my wedding? I, female 25, and my fiancé, male 23, are getting married in April. Until now, the planning has been great. He proposed in last year's March, and I've been planning everything since. One big rule that I had was no kids. I've discussed this with him and he was fine. So no kids under 13 are allowed. So I have a brother that's 13 and my fiancé has two sisters, 20 and 8 months. Yes, the younger was a big accidental pregnancy. So everything was fine till my fiancé found out that there weren't any baby accommodations, and TBH, I didn't even know there was baby accommodations in weddings. But he confronted me and I told him that his baby sister is not coming. Because of the no kids rule, but he said that rule was for guests, and his baby sister isn't a guest, she's family. I love his baby sister, she's very cute, but she's a colicky baby. I believe that's what they call it. She cries and cries all day long. It was so bad my boyfriend and I moved out of his parents' house. His family is now calling me some names for not allowing his baby sister in, but honestly, I will probably only have one wedding in my life, and I do not want to be interrupted by a baby crying while I'm exchanging my vows. His other sister is on my side, and is now persuading them to just get a babysitter. My own parents are also saying that I should just allow the baby since my brother, who's pretty close to the age limit, is coming too. They will try to keep the baby quiet throughout my ceremony. So am I the idiot? Edit. The age limit was not set by me but by my husband. The age limit was decided on that since that's when kids go from elementary to middle, so they are considered teens. Also, my brother will be 14 by the time of the wedding. As for my control over the wedding, I only really have two sayings: the no kids rules and the wedding cake. Everything else is pretty much decided by my fiancé. Location, venue, theme, party numbers, and our wedding outfits. Which I'm pretty much against all, but I went along since it's our wedding, so I don't think it's much to not want a colicky baby in the disco-themed wedding. Would like to add that there will be a lot of alcohol as well. Edit. My fiancé is actually not that mad at me after some consideration and actually agrees that having his baby sister there isn't a good idea because of the alcohol. It's mainly his parents who are pissed, not the idiot. Don't know why everyone wants a continuously crying baby at a loud wedding. Maybe because I saw this after the edit, but you've been very reasonable about all other areas of the wedding. I always thought the rule of thumb with relationships is 1 no, 2 yeses, not the idiot. You chose a child-free wedding for a reason, so please stick to it. I read that your SO is now on your page. Good for you. A baby and alcohol and metal music, not a good combination. Hope you have a really good party. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for outing my trans cousin? Last week, me, male 22, was talking to a friend, male 22, who had recently been dumped by his girlfriend who ended up dating my cousin, male 24, and I was laughing at what happened. During the conversation, I told my friend that this was my cousin's first time dating a girl since he transitioned about 4 years ago. He acted weird and had a confused look on his face. He was very surprised as he did not know that my cousin was trans. I thought this was weird as he had worked with my cousin for 2 years at a restaurant, and he always told me how close they were. For context, my cousin had documented his entire transition, FTM, on his Instagram, where he posted many updates on testosterone. He had even posted a picture of his chest post-top surgery. I thought that my friend had seen these posts, since they are both pretty active on social media, and did not know that he didn't. FYI, his Instagram was public, so anybody could look up my cousin's name and find it. A few days later, I got a call from my cousin yelling at me for outing him. Without me knowing, my friend had told a lot of other people that my cousin was trans, and some of his homophobic friends were harassing my cousin. I tried to tell my cousin that I thought everyone knew since he posted the whole transition. He told me that he deleted that Instagram a couple months ago. So we got into an argument over how the internet is forever, and how he never reached out telling me that he wanted to keep his transition a secret. Now my aunt and other family members are mad at me and my cousin and I are not on speaking terms. And to make it worse, he is boycotting our grandmother's funeral since he's so mad at me. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but the one siding with your cousin against you are. There was no malicious intent, and how were you supposed to know that after being so open about his transition that he decided to IDK what the term would be here? To step back in the closet? Someone help me here. I do feel for your cousin that, for whatever reason, he had already chosen to do this, and screw the people harassing him. This might be a little misplaced anger/frustration on his part, though. You're the idiot. I get it wasn't on purpose and not malicious, but why even talk about someone's transition, personal identity/past/dating life, etc.? Like it's hot gossip? It's not your place to add any casual commentary. You can't assume people know, and it's such a volatile environment right now, yikes. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for not providing a definition of a word played in Scrabble until clarifying whether the person was challenging the word or not? My wife and I were playing Scrabble last night. I can't even remember the last time I've beaten her at the game. We've been married for 9 years, and it's probably been at least 3, 4 years, probably more like 5 or 6 since I've beaten her at the game. We hadn't played in a while, so we clarified the challenge rules near the beginning. I was wondering, if when the challenger is wrong, do they lose their next turn? We clarified that a wrong challenge does result in a lost turn. We are nearing the end of the game, and I actually have a little bit of a lead for a change. I put down the word MU. She asks, "What is that?" I was thinking she was trying to gauge my response to see whether she should challenge it or not. I asked, "Are you challenging it?" She responds, "Well, what is it?" Me, "I'll tell you after you let me know if you want to challenge it or not." Her, "It's common courtesy to provide the definition of a word you play if someone asks." Me, "I'm happy to tell you after you tell me if you are challenging it or not." She got upset, saying, "I hate the way you play games sometimes." She just started looking up the definition on her phone. I clarified again, "So does this mean you are challenging it?" Her, "No, I'm not challenging it. I want to know what it is." Me, "Okay, well, it's a Greek letter. I ended up winning the game." She said I was being nasty. I was perfectly calm and just stated that it isn't a part of the rules to have to provide a definition to the word. And by providing a definition before clearing up a challenge, it can tip the person off as to whether it is a real word or not. She got mad and stormed upstairs to go to bed. Conversation continued today. I explained how I was taken aback by her reaction. She says it is common courtesy to provide a definition when asked. She said the conversation triggered her, and that if I continue playing that way, she will no longer play Scrabble with me. She stormed off again when I asked for clarification about how I was being rude during the game. I explained how, from my perspective, I was completely calm and civil, but she just didn't like that I didn't help tip her off as to whether she should challenge the word or not. Providing a definition is nowhere in the rules, but she says it is common courtesy to provide. I disagree because I think that is an unfair advantage in deciding to challenge or not. Am I in the wrong here? Not the idiot. I'm no Scrabble expert, but I think looking up the definition of a word played by another player is considered a challenge. It sounds like you see the game differently. I would suggest agreeing to disagree or decide which is more important. Your principles, pride are this issue, or getting along with your wife, playing future games of Scrabble with her. Not the idiot. Asking for a definition without challenging, or at least waiting until the time you're allowed to challenge has passed, is the same as asking for a consequence-free challenge. If you're just curious about the word, wait until you can no longer challenge or clarify that you won't challenge it, regardless of the answer, before asking, or add it into your house rules that asking automatically forfeits your right to challenge that word. While that may not have been OP's wife's intention, it does look like she's fishing for information before risking a lost turn. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for expecting my stepchildren to do more housework? I have an 8-year-old son with my ex-husband, and my husband has an 11-year-old son and a 14-year-old daughter with his ex-wife. My son is helpful and independent and has a chore chart. He does all his own self-care chores, tidies and cleans his own room, does his own laundry, makes his own snacks, lunch, and breakfast. He also does a lot of household chores, loading, unloading the dishwasher, feeding the dog, helping make dinner, etc. My stepchildren are less inclined to help around the house or even do their own personal chores. For the most part, my husband and I raise our own kids and have firm boundaries about discipling and parenting each other's kids. I have a good relationship with my stepkids. If I ask my stepchildren to do certain chores, they will sometimes do it and other times so they'll say they'll do it later and never get back to it. This often ends up with me having to nag them or do it myself. My husband will rarely ask his kids to do any chores. He won't even make them do their own laundry and does it himself. Sometimes I have to do it because it gets so backed up. They don't have any clean clothes to wear. The 11-year-old's room is always a mess, and I regularly have to go in there to get dirty cups and plates. In December, I got so sick of the state of it, I made SS help me clean and tidy. Later that day, my husband came home from work, and we had been cleaning for over an hour. He essentially told me it wasn't my business to make his son clean his room. He said it was his space and he was able to treat it how he likes. I am tired of having to do so much of the housework when it would be quicker and easier for the kids to pitch in more. My husband does do some housework, but as he works full-time and I only work part-time, I take on the bulk of it. Recently, I asked my husband if we could get together as a family and make a chore chart for all the kids, so that his kids can take on some extra responsibility. I even wanted to make it so the kids could earn rewards for doing extra chores to give them incentive. He was against this. While I believe that chores are an important way to contribute to the family unit and learn necessary skills for adulthood, my husband doesn't agree. He was raised in a very strict home, and both him and his ex-wife believe in more free-range parenting for their kids. He thinks kids shouldn't be burdened with any chores, and that he doesn't want his kids to spend their limited free time doing chores that don't interest them. He also doesn't think it will be hard for them to pick up the skills later in life. He thinks I'm an idiot for continuing to bring up his kids doing chores, and that if I do make them do more chores, they'll just want to spend more time at their mom's house. He told me I'd be in danger of becoming a stereotypical wicked stepmother if I push chores on the kids. Am I the idiot? You're the idiot. Y'all agreed to each parent your kids how you want. This is the result of that TBH, the fact that an 8-yo is making his own meals, doing laundry, loading the dishwasher, etc. Sounds more like you're raising a house servant than a child. Not to mention your 8-yo does so much, and you, working part-time, are complaining about having to pull your weight because the children aren't working enough for you. You're the idiot. You are complaining about being overworked and annoyed the kids won't do chores when you only work part-time, and is forcing a 8-year-old to make his own meals because you're too tired. Get grip. And maybe this is a sign that when your kid is older, you're getting dumped in a shitty retirement home. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for being petty and holding a grudge against my brother? I struggle with hygiene. Not in a I love dirt kind of way, but in the way I am very paranoid about germs. It first started when COVID began, and it has since spiraled from then. I won't go into details, but it is a problem significant enough that even my family has noticed. The only place that feels truly clean is my bedroom. No one is allowed to enter without washing their feet with soap, and my family does not step into my room without permission. However, my older brother, who is in his mid-20s, disregarded this rule multiple times up until recently. My cat sometimes enters my room, and my older brother will come to my door to get the cat. I always tell him not to enter, and I give him the cat whenever he asks for it. Despite this, if I am ever out of my room and my cat is in it, my brother still enters my room to take the cat. I am usually in the room with the cat at all times, so whenever I step out, it is only briefly. It really pisses me off because my brother can't wait a short time for me to return. There have been multiple occasions that this has happened, and I have repeatedly told him off for doing so. I firmly set this specific boundary with him, and he has acknowledged this. These incidents have left me feeling really irritated and upset, but I didn't really do anything about it. A few weeks ago, my brother came to my room as usual to get the cat. My cat was underneath my bed, so it took a little while to try to get it out. My back was facing my brother, and the minute I turned to get at a better angle, my brother was sprawled on the floor of my room, beckoning the cat out. I completely lost it. I screamed at him and called him expletives, telling him to get out, and I slammed the door in his face. He went away. I was furious at him and felt incredibly disrespected. Fast forward to now, I am now not on speaking terms with my brother. Any attempt he makes to try to talk to me, I completely ignore him. He has apologized since then, though it doesn't feel sincere. He says it wasn't that serious, doesn't know what I want him to say, and that he doesn't even enter my room anymore. He also tells me it breaks his heart when he sees me acting so cold towards him, and that he doesn't want a poor relationship with me in the future. My parents both agree that I should get over it since it was in the past, I'm starting to think that too now. On one hand, he invalidates my feelings and my boundaries. But on the other hand, he is my brother. I love him, and I don't want this anger I have towards him to hold over our heads forever. It is possible that I overreacted and should probably seek help for this extreme cleanliness thing. And maybe this whole situation isn't worth holding a petty grudge over. Am I the idiot? In case anyone was wondering why my older brother is living in the same house as our family, we live in a country where it is normal for adult children to live with their parents because housing is expensive. You're the idiot. Also, what makes the cat more clean than the family members, when the cat is obviously being petted and touched by the family members? He's just trying to take the cat and doesn't touch anything else in your room. If you don't want your brother to enter your room again, just close your door so the cat can't enter your room either. You're the idiot. You seem self-aware enough to understand that this germaphobia is not normal. I hope you're seeking professional help, because it's not reasonable to ask people to keep accommodating you. That said, if you had overreacted in the moment and then apologized, that would be one thing. But you're an idiot because you know it's unreasonable, but you're choosing to maintain the grudge.